My name is Angelika Jakiela, and I have a heartfelt, caring message for all humans to please care for all the pets, their loved animals, all the birds, all the living creatures with respiratory tracts, especially during COVID times and the different variant strains of the COVID or coronavirus that are going on, which is unfortunately still in the world, in all countries of the world. Please, everyone, wear a mask and prevent the spread of COVID and variant strains. To help prevent it from spreading to the loved ones, the innocent, the vulnerable, the loved animals, the loved pets, and other loved living creatures with respiratory tracts. Please, everyone, keep this in mind. It is not only humans, kids, elderly, and all rest of humanity that are affected by coronavirus and their variant strains if they get it. It is also the animals, the pets, the birds. They are also living creatures. Please do your part to keep this in mind. It starts with thinking. It starts with being educated about this. That's why I am mentioning this, to kindly remind all humans to also let their children know. It starts with being informed, to be educated about these matters. When a human is informed and knowledgeable about this, then they can spread this information by word of mouth, by posting it, tagging it, letting other people know, adults telling their children, children telling other children. Unsafe to do, obviously, with a mask on, staying 2 meters away, or online, on the phone, doing their part to prevent the spread of this terrible coronavirus and the different mutant strains that currently exist that are more virulent, that travel faster and longer distances between humans, kids, old people, disabled people, humans, all of them. And travel, to keep in mind, to animals. When a human breathes it out, a child, a disabled person, an elderly person, it travels, this virus, if a human has it, when breathed out, up to 2 meters to another living creature, with especially the ones with a respiratory tract, including animals, pets of all kinds in wildlife. All these animals and pets, these are the most beloved creatures in the universe. These are innocent creatures, vulnerable also to coronavirus and variant strains. They, keep in mind, Angelika mentioning this specifically, what I learned, and choose to share this with all humanity, to please keep this in mind. It is one thing when humans do their part to prevent the spread of coronavirus from spreading to other humans. But some humans are being negligent or not informed about these matters and don't notice, and unfortunately, that animals, pets, birds, bunnies, dogs, other living creatures in the wild have are capable of becoming ill when they get the coronavirus and their variant strains because they don't have anything protecting their cells from it. They are obviously not made immune from it. No living creature is. And one get this if they do, the coronavirus and their variant strains, the different mutated forms that changed forms of the virus, then they will become ill with respiratory breathing problems and other health concerns, nausea, aches, fevers, depending on which strain they get, and suffer 2 very long weeks and die. Obviously, no human alive wants to see an innocent creature, an animal or pet. These loved of all creation, these innocent animals that have the most kindness, hearts, and souls of all. Keep in mind, do have a life. They have a life force and a dignity within them as all living creatures do. To be respected as a valuable creature with a life, a soul, a brain, a mind, a physicality that has a right to be respected, to be healthy and happy at all times while it is alive on the earth. And that goes for all animals in the wild, in cities, in farms, all kind hearted pets that are already taken care of by humans, obviously loved ones. Little children have pets. Keep in mind, parents of the children. None of them want these animals, the little dogs, the cats. Even they have little infant cats, kittens, puppies, bunnies, the rabbits have, the little birds. All of these have potential of getting the coronavirus and their variant strains. It is unfortunate that already many of these creatures' lives were wrongly harmed by this virus and variant strains and suffered horrendously for 2 weeks and died. The main point that I'm getting at to please everyone to educate yourself from what I'm mentioning, to please keep this in mind, to wear a mask, the mask itself to help prevent the spread of coronavirus. These certified masks, there were the 3-layer ones made of polypropylene with the ear loops on the side and pinched on the top of the nose to seal, help prevent of the spread of the virus. And the mask itself, keep in mind, is not exactly sealed on the whole side of the human face. And as well as a preventative measure of the coronavirus and variant strains from spreading, a human, even while wearing the mask, had to stay away and practice social distancing from humans and animals, pets, in cities, wild, farmland, everywhere, approximately 2 meters away, to prevent it from spreading. even to animals, pets, as I stated, in the wildlife. Not only humans, there are humans that work also, as veterinarians have to keep this in mind, to remind themselves, write this down. Other humans that work in conservationist areas in nature, other humans that are farmers, all humans that work with animals, these kind hearted souls, living human beings, worth treated with respect as every living creature with a brain, mind, and physicality that chooses to be healthy and right to be, especially above all humans rather as well, because this is the main point to remember, and everyone please remember this and let everyone know in the world that animals, these kind-hearted creatures, the pets, the little pets of them, the little infants of them, in the wild, in the cities, on the farmlands, they do not have the intellectual reasoning ability that humans have. To know what coronavirus is, to know what the different mutant strains of them are, to wear a mask, to protect themselves from it, from being spread to them. They do not know these things. They are not like humans who have an intellect in the brain that can educate themselves. And to know these matters, to put a mask on to prevent them from spreading the virus, to seek help to get vaccines, to help to make antibodies against the virus or variant strains of it, so that they will be protected from it and won't get symptoms from it, from those exact variant strains. Animals, pets, those in the wildlife, all the living creatures, especially with the respiratory tracts that are not immune, unfortunately, do not have the intellectual brain reasoning capabilities to seek out a vaccination for themselves when there is vaccines present for the animals. Then it is the jobs of the caregivers, humans, veterinarians, conservationists that might cross paths with an animal, to be educated and informed about these up-to-date, most recent research findings, and to get the most appropriate vaccine for each specific type of animal, each species of it, to consider its potential if it has any other health concerns or allergies, if it would be appropriate to give them this vaccine or not, to care for its health and well-being as a living creature that cannot understand and doesn't know what the coronavirus is, and would love to have someone to help it, to put a mask on it, to make sure to be present care when it does have a mask put on it, to have enough air to breathe, to monitor it. The humans that have pets, to put their mask made for dogs, to check up on them when wearing these so they don't suffocate. They need oxygen to breathe. Many seconds, even in a minute, keep in mind, is 60 seconds in a minute. That a dog, if a human has as a pet, or a cat, or a bunny, the little birds, if I put a mask on them, such as the one with the loops on the ears rather, there's still barely enough air around there for the little animal to breathe. So when staying close to an animal or loved pet, an animal in farmland, the farmers would consider other visitors, though not recommended to have visitors to prevent the spread of coronavirus and their variant strains to the living creatures, the animals, to pets, veterinarians dealing with these that care for the animals, animal attendants, conservationists rather, that deal with animals cross path in the wild, other humans that cross path with animals. All humans and kids have to be informed about this to help take care of these innocent animals. They would love to have protection from this virus as any human and all living creatures would love to be vaccinated so that if they got the variant specific strain that they're vaccinated against or coronavirus, then they would, if they got the virus, the body would already have antibodies made to fight it off, and they wouldn't get the symptoms of it and wouldn't suffer 2 weeks and die. But unfortunately, these animals don't have the reasoning intellectual capabilities in their brain that humans have to think of these things. They need other humans to care for them. They need little kids to be educated to remember these things, to tell other kids when safe to do, for the parents to be learned, have information about this, to teach to their kids, for all humans to consider this information, all those especially working with animals to keep this in mind. These are things that humans have to do, especially when they thought of first to deal with animals. They obviously care enough and know that they are living creatures with a kind heart, a soul. They have emotions, a personality, a brain, mind, organs that are all functioning need to be taken care of. They have to have a nutritious food. They have to be taken care of by humans. They have to be given, considered all the pet owners. Please kindly consider this. Please listen to this intently. It is from the kind heart soul of a human being, an earth angel that chooses all to be informed, for all humans to hear this so that they prevent the suffering of innocent animals, of innocent loved pets, and want to prevent the spread of this coronavirus and variant strains. And there are other various different viruses, bacterias that do exist as well, that can be transferred from a human being, a child, from one animal to another animal, especially this virus from by humans breathing. And then vice versa, the animals could potentially have this virus, spread it to a human being, their owner, and if it is a pet, the little dog, The little puppies, if it has, can spread it to its parent, the dog, and might be ill and suffer 2 weeks and die and won't have its parent, the dog, taking care of the little puppy, which requires care from the parent kind heart to take care of the little puppy for life. And also a cat, if it gets the virus breathing from another animal or pet, they also have to stay 2 meters away from other pets, other dogs, other cats, the little infants they have. A cat, if it has, keep in mind, a little infant, a kitten, it should be tested, and the same with the dogs. A human caregiver for these animals to take it to a vet or medical facility that deals with the animals to could be tested, blood tested, or depending whatever test that is most recent to test if the animal does have coronavirus or a variant strain. For the human to think of this, it starts with thinking, to be informed, to listen to these words and think of these. Take the time, few seconds to slow down in your life and think of this. The obviously caring humans choose to take care of and have animals as pets. But there are a lot of things to keep in mind, and please write these down and put on a little paper and review how to refresh your memory as needed. If an animal, a pet, a dog, or a cat, if it gets loose and should be kept on a leash, a dog, safely, especially during COVID times, the owners know this, but to keep their fences closed if they have their pet outdoors, say in a backyard, to always monitor where their pet and this loved creature is. If it does have a little infant, if a dog, their pet has a little young puppy that also has respiratory tract, organs, a brain, mind, kind-hearted soul, then to be present there and to monitor these animals to make sure other humans are not coming near them, that they don't get out of potentially a gate open or fence and leave the backyard and go somewhere else where they could potentially come in contact with or someone near them breathing a human, another animal, a dog, someone else's pet dog, a cat, bunny, a bird, might be breathing a little child, might be have the coronavirus or a different variant strain, and less than 2 meters spread this to this innocent animal. Or an animal might spread this to another innocent child, to an adult, to another dog, pet of someone else next door, to a cat. And to keep in mind that this, if they have little infants, then the dog might get sick and a little infant kitten won't have a parent. It'll be ill, its parent, the cat, suffer 2 weeks and die, have no one to take care of it. Same with a dog. The little rabbits might have a bunny, might lose a loving parent to take care of it and die. Then the owners affected and children, if have these pets and animals, suffer in the soul crying to see this, them suffering ill health. Having the coronavirus, it is a horrible virus. These are symptoms that no human, especially even humans, know what a virus is, and most don't, but when educated can figure out basically what it is, even though not educated in medical matters. But animals do not know. They don't have, keep in mind, as I'm stating, the mental, brain, intellectual capabilities of knowing that they got the coronavirus or which virus, which variant strain. They know is that their body is becoming ill. They have a breathing problem. The other symptoms, depending which strain they get, maybe aches, nausea, and this will last for long second hours if not monitored, not cared for, and for 2 long weeks. These are long days and nights, so that 1 week, 2 weeks, and suffer this way horrendously and die. A dog, a loved pet, potentially of a child that knows is a pet, a loved one, but beyond this doesn't want it to see it suffer, don't want it to cry. And a kitten, a puppy, doesn't want anyone to lose its parents. The animals, the humans, obviously care enough to have a pet, then have to consider wearing a mask, keep this in their thoughts, to keep their pets well unleashed outside, outdoors, when safe to do. Keep in mind when it's cold, the virus and their variant strain, this information alone humans have to consider to help the animals. When they have a pet, are already known, thought through that they are morally obligated out of respect the dignity of the innocent creature to take care of it, as long as they're the owner of that pet, the dog, a cat, a bunny, birds. They already know this. These are all cases where humans, when I get a pet, already are educated and know that they are willing to take care of another human life. If it was an adult, a human, for a child, and in the situation when I get a pet or animal to take care of an innocent animal life, which they know have to have constant care. These animals, the pets, these kind-hearted animals, they cannot be left unattended. Most humans know during COVID has been existing already and unfortunately mutant strains and a lot of humans over time and world leaders unfortunately. It is beyond disheartening, and the Pope included, haven't done their part entirely for years to prevent the spread of this coronavirus and variant strains at all costs. They're not even setting a proper example anymore. But they wouldn't want to suffer 2 whole weeks of respiratory and other ailments beyond no human should live through and die. Animals, keep in mind, pets have to be kept in the owner's, say, backyard, property. Make sure if you're considering to get a pet, make sure even as a preventative further measure to care for them, to make sure there are no other pets, even within a, say, a house beside you next door. Make sure no one else has a pet next door to prevent it from spreading. Potential animal going to see what another animal is doing, a dog, a cat, bunny, a little child. If there's little children next door, please keep in mind during COVID times and variant strains, not everyone knows where their neighbors go. They could have traveled somewhere and got a different strain and potentially spread it to animals, pets. No one wants this to happen. to keep in mind the little children, they obviously, depending on their age, love to see a cute dog or smiling. They would run to go see the puppy, a kitten, a bunny, but need to be monitored by their parents to make sure they stay away and told them to inform them at proper ages and to keep them away when they're too young to know these things away from other people's pets, obviously, bunnies, kittens, birds, dogs, to prevent the spread of coronavirus from an animal to a baby, human, a kid, a child, they could spread it to their parents. No one wants an innocent child, a kid even, a human. Baby cannot intellectually comprehend when it doesn't even learn to talk. Yet to be suffering coronavirus symptoms and their variant strains ill at that young age. And even as a toddler, when learning to walk, could run to see a little puppy and potentially get this virus from the puppy breathing if it had the virus within 2 meters of this little innocent toddler, a child human. These are things that all humans, still while this virus on Earth, have to consider. It starts with thinking. Humans have to be well fed in these times, to care for their own health, to be well rested, sleep the 8 hours that they need, especially during COVID times, so that they are well rested for their physical health and their heart to function properly and the brain to be mentally rested enough so that during these times especially until this variant strains and the coronavirus are gone from the world, they have to do their part, and all humanity knows, to prevent the spread of this coronavirus and variant strains, not only from themselves potentially or from others to them, to children, to the elderly, most vulnerable. They cannot easily fight off viruses. Children cannot fight off viruses easily, they're too young. The animals, then, a human has to be well rested and mentally prepared. When they sleep 8 hours enough, the physicality is well rested and eat enough, well fed, have to eat nutritious food. Then, when they think of this and care enough for their own selves within their own heart and soul, their own dignity of God, to respect their own physical health and brain physicality, to be well rested and think, to be an earth angel, a human, to use their virtues, then, with this infernal rested, have the capabilities and physical proper health to think of the others, their pets, the loved ones, these kind-hearted souls, animals, the little birds, the bunny, the little dog, the little cat, to consider all these things mentioned in this video, to write it down, refresh your memory, think of it first, morally obligated and know responsible for the health and well-being of the little innocent pets, loved ones, and creatures. To remember these first, to you to as a human, the caregiver of the animals. If you have children, to consider this, to keep the animals away from the children, obviously, 2 meters away until the virus is gone from the world and variant strains. Even keep in mind if a human being or child is triple vaccinated or fourth booster shot vaccinated against coronavirus and then have further protection because of the triple booster shot and the fourth one, And the fourth booster shot has certain antibodies that they made when they got the vaccine against a specific strain rather of coronavirus that the first vaccines and the third booster shot didn't have, to make protection of antibodies against that exact extra different variant strain of coronavirus. Even humans, keep in mind, 3 or 4th booster shot vaccinated, little children, adults, elderly, the disabled that might already have a brain injury, physical health concern, allergies, that don't want to get coronavirus spread to them. Some humans cannot and choose a still free will of choice not to be vaccinated, have to be respected by all other humans too, to their part to prevent the spread of this virus at all costs, by doing their part to educate themselves, to be patient and use this as a virtue in itself, a gift of the spirit from within, selflessly, to take the time to be patient, slow down, and to kindly think of the educatedly informed of the needs to prevent the health and the health failing potentially and suffering of another human life, an infant potentially getting coronavirus and their variant strain and dying after 2 weeks of suffering horrendously, mainly respiratory ailments, and in this situation as well of their loved animals. These loved pets, these loved living creatures. When you patiently take the time, and is a virtue in itself as stated of patience, to have understanding after being educated, what I stated as a human archangel telling you from the kindest heart of my own soul, what I learned and seen in the world, don't want anyone to suffer. With these intents to inform you to be educated, to kindly listen to this, to learn this and be educated from what I speak, and from the kindness of your heart and soul, to do your part to prevent the spread educatedly of this coronavirus and variant strains to those you love the most, your pets and other animals. These are from caregivers that have pets. This is to veterinarians that deal with animals and obviously help other humans that have animals and have to consider that the humans and animals, they don't know where they traveled from. They could have been exposed to different variant strains of the coronavirus and their variant strains. People always, a lot of humans rather have masks and unfortunately sold the fake ones. This unfortunately still goes on in the world. To please be informed. The Pope and all world leaders haven't done their part, and all world major retailers, online and in stores, and pharmaceutical companies and World Health Organization have not, unfortunately, done their part to care and respect the human dignity and health, lives, and well being of all humans, kids, and these kind animals. Humans' pets, the birds, the bunnies, the dogs, the cats, they consider that they have to under their job description under God to care, to think of this and to inform and keep informing, educating all humanity, such as yourself, kind-hearted humans. With information, it starts to educatedly care about this virus and potential spread to animals, breathing from an infant, a disabled person, from veterinarians, dealing with humans that have pets who came from not knowing which city in a different countries, have different variant mutant strains of coronavirus, Humans already triple vaccinated or for the booster shot vaccinated going to different places, even though with a fake mask, but some unknowingly purchased one that look like the real mask to consider. So please, everyone, check the certification number on the mask before you purchase it. Make sure it has a correct expiry date. These are main things to look for when purchasing a mask that will prevent the spread of coronavirus. To the percentage that the mask has capabilities of. The PFE rating on it is a percentage filtration efficacy rating. It is the percentage that the mask that has the material made out of, mostly polypropylene, that will prevent when a human's breathing out, if they had the virus, would prevent it from spreading through the material up to, say, 97 to 99%, depending on what the percentage is stated that this mask is made to prevent a virus from spreading through the material on the mask that is made out of. That certain material, these chemicals, each mask is made of certain molecules, chemicals. In most recent times, it's polypropylene. These masks, these blue and white ones, and other ones, there's the fourth layer added to them. In recent times, fifth layer ones have to consider that even though it is even to put on animals to consider that is not sealed on the entire side of the face. That's why humans as well, when wearing masks, have to, and animals put on, be monitored, that to stay away 2 meters from one another. They state some strains is 1 meter, could potentially spread, but in all these days, if there's a wind and colder temperatures, the strains that currently exist in the world travel further than 1 meter, obviously. After a human exhales and breathes out any particle of this virus, and will be spread and potentially already spread to an animal and some humans before the actual symptoms already are being shown present in the human, might spread it already while they're becoming present rather in the human or an animal, a pet, a bird, different animals than I mentioned as well on the farmland, in the wild. For humans conservationists to think of this, to mention this, to spread it to others. Information helps a lot. And when you educatedly know about this and use this from the kindness of your heart and soul, these are virtues: kindness, compassion, to have the mercy, to take the time. These are gifts of the Holy, these are gifts of the Spirit, by free will of choice, to patiently understand what that another human life, an animal that has a brain, a mind, personality, emotions, soul, organs, and health, that is to be respected, dignity of God within them, as all living creatures, including humans and all animals as well, pets in the wild, animals there on farmland, all have the right to be respected as all living creatures, to have what humans have, the high intellectual reasoning ability in their brain, that have capability of thinking these, to help them to prevent the spread of coronavirus to these innocent animals, to the pets, those in farmlands. Keep in mind, especially those with respiratory tracts, where they breathe the air with the lungs. To keep this in mind, it starts with a thought process. Is all humanity's job and morally obligated to do, especially when it chooses to deal with an animal. To keep this in mind, so please listen carefully and remember this, write this information down. I've seen this not attended to in the world, and needlessly many animals, potentially millions, suffered needlessly on the earth alone. Not cared for, pets were lost. The little pets, the little dogs, cats, the little infants lost parents, They didn't have anyone to take care of them. They have souls, need to be fed, need to be taken care of. The owners lost a pet loved one crying. They do have emotions, souls, as stated, personalities. These are living creatures. They do not talk, but they do bark. They do communicate, a little kitten meowing. They do let you know if they need something, they need someone to care for them. They need human earth angels, humans that care, use their kind virtues to care for their lives of their pets, other animals, to inform other humans, especially children at proper age, about preventative measures to prevent this coronavirus and their variant strains from spreading. This is, keep in mind, there is no cure. There is no human or animal on this earth that is immune to coronavirus and their variant strains, and even as I stated, if triple or four booster shot vaccinated, a human or animal, a pet, loved one with a soul, personality, brain, mind, health, organs, a life within them to be respected might get a different strain, a different mutated, changed form of the virus, and still become ill even if vaccinated from the other one and different other strain. This virus, as I stated, changes forms over time. That's why as humans to do their part to prevent it from spreading from animals to kids takes constant thought to a human to be well rested and well fed and to be educated in these matters and spread this information by word of mouth online. Save distances as well when speaking to someone approximately 2 meters away and wearing a mask properly certified with a proper expiry date. Never purchase a mask that is past expiry date. It will not work. It is in fact hazardous to human health. The chemicals break down in the mask and potentially harm the human as well, and they do not prevent the spread as proper as a normal mask that is not past the expiry date. And the virus will spread, and more humans will become ill, more children become ill when spread, animals, loved ones with SARS, with souls rather, brain, minds, personal organs, breathing problems. Keep in mind, will be breathing problematically, suffer not enough oxygen, will be ill, have muscle aches, depending which symptoms of which coronavirus strain they have or coronavirus. And suffer this way is not a second. This is a horrendously long time. There's a million seconds in a day. And keep breathing wrong like this and cannot, don't want, and don't deserve to be disrespect this way. If humans are not taking the time to be well rested and well fed and educated about these matters, and suffer when a poor woman, poor animal rather spread to this virus, and the animal's gonna suffer 2 weeks, and even a child might see or caregiver obviously crying, an innocent animal suffering. There might not be a vaccine for that exact strain. There are no cures. As I stated, to keep in mind, this above all animals, pets, they don't have the human intellectual reasoning abilities to be educated what a virus is. If they get it, they are suffering ill health symptoms. They don't know how to treat it. They don't know that they can go to a vet hospital. They need to be taken by a human being that cares to seek proper medical assistance for them immediately, to care for their health, to save their lives. If they have the proper vaccination to help them, proper medical facilities to help them, to first prevent them from suffering this way, from getting the virus, to prevent them rather from getting the variant strain of the virus and other ones and different viruses. The cold itself, common cold, is a virus. There are bacteria in the world, different funguses, different infections. They are also spread in the world. It takes, and it has been unfortunately not done in the whole world. The Pope and world leaders haven't been and put the resources which they have into this and financial resources, obviously, to care for not only humanity, to respect the dignity of a human valuable enough to respect their health and life, that has a soul, a human physicality, respiratory organs, that chooses to be healthy and doesn't want to get the coronavirus and their variant strains, doesn't want it to spread to loved ones, children potentially lost, parents, because of getting this suffering and see them crying, then and others suffering with this. They've neglected this after millions lost lives and suffered, and neglected to keep informing humans of these simple facts, and I made other videos about this specifically to help to get to these world leaders, to the religious leaders, to prevent the spread of this at all costs. It is one of the only ways that it will be gone from the world. It was unfortunately not pushed the issue by the Pope, who's God represent as human on earth, morally obligated under God, presidents, prime ministers over 4 long years to care enough and to mention and to enforce and monitor this. They have all the resources, TV shows they're on, summit meetings, World Health Organization, these are other FDA, other certification companies of the masks. They're not always doing their job. They early on started things, but even their websites are not clear. There's not enough information. These are simple facts that I even stated, but seen over time that they are required to an everyday post on their online websites. They have their Twitter pages with million followers. All of these world leaders, the stated World Health Organization, these are not they don't keep reminding humans of this. This is not after over 4 years. There's a lot of these, whoever companies did are keep in mind, have already lifted restrictions to are stating that masks are no longer required to be worn in certain facilities, places, restaurants, stores. This is the worst disrespect of humanity and lives of hundreds of millions of humans and animals, loved ones, pets, children there is. The Pope and all world leaders are not doing their part, and not even online seen stated is true. Anyone can clearly see they're not doing under God their job morally obligated to wear a mask to promote this in the world till the entire all virus and all variant different mutant strains are entirely gone from the world. They're in fact doing not a good moral example and cannot make their paychecks. They have to resign years ago, had to, and hire a good moral example what their job title description is to care for all humanity and all they employ and all different employers under them that know these legally, to care for the dignity and respect the health, lives, and well-being of all humans, children, elderly, disabled, all animals, pets, and all in the universe. They want to be respected of dignity of God in them, religious or not, the value of a human life and health, well-being, and to be cared, respected by others, especially in high job authority. Under God, they swear these oaths. Religious or not, in every job description to care, especially as well in medical field, World Health Organization, FDA, pharmaceutical, all companies, doctors, psychiatrists, and these situations vary. These veterinarians, farmers, conservationists rather, that deal with with all the, if they cross paths with the animals in the wildlife, forests, if they cross paths with their, and all in city residential areas, they're not doing their part, unfortunately. So I'm informing, for when in the kindest heart of my own heart and soul, a human being, earth angel, that doesn't want anyone to suffer what I've seen already in the world for over 4 years, unfortunately. That's why I'm taking the time to inform what I've seen in the world, so other humans will educatedly think of this, write it down as I stated, and keep reminding themselves and others of this when safe to do, to prevent the spread of coronavirus and variant strains, when safe to do as well, to be vaccinated. These are mRNA vaccines, to the best of my reasoning ability as a human being that studied, has a degree in life science and did different research. And I am a human that had the vaccine done to me and studied different, as I stated, subjects on neurobiology, how different viruses and virology and affect potentially a brain, how the virus works, what mRNA is, genetic level, or other humans' current research in the world, took into consideration my own experience is minimal side effects, only mild discomfort, pain where the injection site is a vaccine. I don't have any actual allergies other than that. I never had any harmful side effects when I got the vaccine. To me, it's most beneficial to get the vaccine from my own research and life experience. It is safer than getting the actual sample early on of the early vaccines of a sample of the coronavirus or the exact variant strain of it that the human was given, so the body would, one sense, make antibodies against it. So then to be able to fight it off if they really got the actual virus and their variant strains and not get any symptoms of it. But early on, humans got the sample of the virus, a small, tiny one, or dead version of it. But were becoming ill because of it and made antibodies over time. But the mRNA is a copy of this, is a of this is of a version of this. Not to get into details, but is an mRNA. So that's on the, is injected into the muscle and is at the smallest level. The MR is a DNA and RNA level. And then is injected into the human muscle, a tiny little needle with the vaccine in it. And that contains also the substance other than the actual, the mRNA, what the vaccine is intended to protect against that exact certain strain of coronavirus and their variant strain that is intended to help a human to create antibodies against. Animals, as I stated, clearly do not have the, like humans, intellectual capabilities to think that they need to go get a vaccine to educate themselves about what a virus is. They need humans to care for them, to be educated in these matters, and to think of the others, which are the animals. To think selflessly of these pets that they have, to continuously care for these if they have a pet, which they know when they chose in the first place to have a pet would require constant care, especially during COVID times and/or coronavirus and variant strains. If humanity and world leaders did their part, the virus would have spread a lot less, and there are potentially be a lot less mutant strains in the world already. But it is out of the negligence and heartlessness of the Pope, Francis, the world leaders, Justin Trudeau, the President, Biden, and all the other world leaders, that are 100 million people suffering and dying. They're still after making their paychecks, which they don't get away with under God. They disrespect the human lives and dignity under their job description cannot do. They know they have employers and all under them employed to affect the lives of other humans and animals, to care for them, respect them during COVID times, do everything in the possibly in their job description to do, to hire other staff, other proper medical care professionals, veterinarians, farmers, conservationists, World Health Organization staff members, FDA members, pharmaceutical company members, all other types of medical staff, the world religious leaders, the all retailers of the masks, the companies that make the masks themselves that prevent the coronavirus and variant strains for humans, children, the elderly, disabled, for animals. For pets, these humans are not respecting human dignity and the dignity of the animals, of innocent lives, of pets, the pets who have potentially little infant, a dog might have a little infant puppy. It is a parent, it is a live creature, cares for in a kindness, heart, and soul more than any human alive for its own little baby dog. And it has to nurture, care for it, and feed it, provide it with shelter and care for it. But it doesn't know how to, if it got the coronavirus itself, to care for it, to prevent it from spreading to its puppy. A cat doesn't know if they got the virus to prevent it spread to the little kitten, but would love to do. So it takes the humans and all in high level jobs and their job description and those working under them, but unfortunately haven't been doing and have to be told. Humans to file complaints up to the highest level they have resources to do and keep doing. To do their own part on human on earth, if someone tells them and see the world leaders setting a wrong example, then this don't follow their wrong example. You do then what you can as a human to spread the proper information that I'm speaking to you from the heart of a human being to help the health and respect dignity of the little animals, the pets, and all creation to do be well rested, to be well fed. A human needs nutrients in these times, proper antioxidants, animals as well, to keep this in mind. To be informed about this, about vitamin C, all humanity knows, helps the immune system to help and make antibodies against viruses. Even the common cold, it is a virus, keep in mind. The coronavirus and variant different strains, mutant changed forms of it. This helps with the human immune system. Vitamin C can be internalized from food and when needed, given supplements easily given to humans internalized. This vitamin A is another antioxidant and vitamin E. These all have other health beneficial benefits to human health and the immune system. In humans, also in animals. In pets, loved little creatures that have potentially other little creatures, little baby animals. They also need nutritious food that contain these vitamins. In pet food, animal food, to be taken to consider this in COVID and variant strain times, but properly when safe to do to call ahead to make sure there's not another many people present if going to a veterinarian clinic or hospital, a place of to advise you about getting proper food for the animals or pets, what vitamin supplements they can have, to call ahead if safe to do, to get advice or supplements on the phone from a trusted healthcare professional that deals with these matters of nutrition for animals, to inform you to stay home and contact them over the phone or online can be done to get this information to prevent the spread of this virus, to not take to consider this information right down, to not take the animals to an unless needed, unless it's a health concern and safe to do with a mask on, not too tight. They obviously have to breathe air to keep in mind. Animals have to have air lungs from their mouth and nose to breathe oxygen, as humans still have to consider. Animals don't have the intellectual reasoning abilities. They might move their paw to have put a mask on their face, an owner, to on their face and have a bit of air on the side of the mask, but struggling to breathe. They might only move their paw to move it a little bit, but they don't have any further human brain intellectual reasoning ability to take care to move the air, the loops on the ears, to loosen it if it's in pain, it's too tight. They have little paws. They don't really have fingers. It's not easy for them to do. They need someone to think of these. This is information that a human being, a caregiver of an animal and pet, has to think of at all times when they have a pet, especially during COVID times, to care for another life rather, of an animal, a pet, to stand there and when they need to put a mask on taking the dog in public to consider this, to make sure the loops on the ears of the dog are not put on too tight, might be injured. Then they'll bruise blood vessels if it's too tight. Is not keep in mind as all humans and animals, they cannot heal themselves. There's nothing healing them instantly. Then they'll be in pain there, and then the caregiver has to think of these things. They chose to care for an animal. If they put a mask on, the loops then have to think of it. It is not too tight on the ears, pinched on the nose enough, but lightly, not to harm intentionally, even by accident, the animal on the nose. They cannot heal themselves. They might start barking, crying, but that's when a human then has to take next to figure out why. If the nose was injured by accident, by the mask, on the top of the nose, on the ears. If they're struggling to breathe air because they put the mask on, even by accident, the caregiver on a dog, a kitten, on the face is too tight somewhat and cannot breathe enough air. They are suffocating. When keep in mind, animals, just like humans, birds, the little dogs, bunnies, kittens, cats, even little kids, keep in mind children. When a human is breathing air, they breathe out CO2. This is carbon dioxide. A human breathes in oxygen and then breathes out CO2. Same with animals, pets, in residential areas, in the wildlife. This is all information learned, and I'm taking the time and heart, soul, and I don't want anyone to suffer. Any animals, kids, even and all animals included. It is a preventative measure for a human to think of these things. Caregivers, veterinarians, medical staff, farmers, world conservationists, humans working in nature, the ones that deal with animals, children that have pets, parents, Humans that deal with and see animals, even neighbors, to be informed, to keep this in mind about themselves and about the animals, especially when have masks on. Humans know, but have the reasoning ability to know when it's safe, when there's no one near them, to not wear a mask. When they're exercising, because they clearly and walking faster somewhere if it's cold. If there's no one near them, they don't have to wear the mask. It won't spread more than approximately 2 meters. And if there's no one there, safe to do, to not wear the mask. Same with animals. If they have a pet, to think of this. If someone is exercising, a human, same with an animal. If they're gonna walk a bit faster, when they're walking is considered exercise. They're already, the body is have a heart, is blood flowing through the heart and the veins. The oxygen is flowing, circulated from the heart. The oxygen a human inhales, a baby, an animal, a dog, the little kittens, bunnies, all of these animals, birds, they all have a respiratory tract. They breathe in from their mouth and nose oxygen, air, and breathe out CO2, carbon dioxide. When they are exercising, not at rest, even when sleeping, it is to consider, but more when a human or animal, a pet, dog, bunny, bird, a cat, the kittens, when they start moving, when they move the paw, when a human moves their arm, an infant, they're moving already. They're already circulating, have to breathe in more air and breathe out CO2. When they're already breathing more, to consider that when they have a mask on, they need caregivers, and humans themselves know in the brain they can think that they know, okay, if I'm breathing more exercise, I can obviously wear a mask, especially when it's safe. There, I can take it off and not wear it. When there's no human or child near me or a pet, animal, bird. But animals don't know this. They cannot think of this. They don't have the intellectual reasoning abilities to accomplish this. Children have to be told this frequently to learn. Let other children know, adults. It is a human worldwide morally obligated effort to continue doing this, to inform humans of this information, to prevent the suffering and health failing of all humanity, kids, disabled, all living creatures. Prevent at all costs their health failing and prevent the spread of this coronavirus and variant strains. When they breathe more, they don't want to be suffocated with a mask, so the parent owners have to monitor that the animals, if they're going to move their paws when they're sleeping, to care to think of this and remember to write down and send. They have today the huge online resources. Twitter have more followers added. Facebook, other main social media sites. Put my video there on every main site. Humans love to hear this. There's a lot of people that are not educated about animals, pets, and nutritious, and having to do rather with nutrition, basic animal anatomy, physiology, functions, about the human, even or the human, what I'm speaking about. To consider information. If a human, they learn this and then they learn by speaking and informing other humans, and then use this information to care for the animals, the pets. The COVID information, unfortunately, even this video could have been made by the Pope, the world leaders, others online. I've seen myself, there's a lot of caring humans. Early on, there's some on World Health Organization sites that state once or twice, but not easy even for an human intelligent in these matters. It's not even easy to find information about this. I had to put together from different sites information and life experience, what I've seen, a human educated in all physiology, animal physiology, nutrition of all kinds, virology, bacteriology, molecular cellular biology, neurobiology, study labs, worked with animals, different patients in facilities, worked in research labs, worked with animals in the field, learned from experience this and seen in the world what the world leaders are neglecting, can't, and put this information together that they could have easily do and have the resources and the humans employed conservation. These are kind, caring humans, but could have took them to say the time and put a paycheck to them that care, and could put this information online and keep pushing every day. Posting it is the same, but humans need reminders. Humans have other things to do. These are serious matters enough that to be posted on Twitter on the humans that have the world leaders and conservationists more to hear this, and you can help. You care a lot, obviously, for all human living creatures know who they are, all humanity to save, and all humans' health and life to respect dignity of a living creatures with a personality, soul, kind hearts of them all animals, birds, especially with respiratory tracts, as stated, have little infant animals they have to take care of. They are living creatures. To prevent the spread to them, to take care of those that have done intellectually capable, are not of thinking of these things, and then they cannot go to school, these animals, and learn from to go study what a virus is. Their brain's not made for this. A human can tell them maybe and will understand at some level that is ill when it's living through. These are kind heart animals but don't have the reasoning ability of a brain that a human has to learn further information about what viruses are, to go and search out to get antioxidants, supplements, more nutritious food. They need care from kind hearted human beings. The caregivers, the owners of pets, farmers, conservationists, veterinarians, other medical staff, the world leaders to invest in this. They are morally obligated under God to think of these main things: humanity, animals, and all living creatures and nature in the world at all times. They are the high level jobs and employ under them that work with other humans to respect these knowledge when employed, then their life affect the lives who they employ and others working them, and humans, animals, and different creatures and nature in the whole world. They are the leaders, and a morally right example have to set for 100 million people and care for the lives of animals, all pets, and all humanity, all the nature, to keep this in mind all the time and have all the obviously $1 million research financial to accomplish. They have all the contact numbers to the all world 100 leaders, all head medical companies, all head veterinarian companies, to the colleges that hire them. They give them license to make sure they hire caring staff, to not hire those that will be medically negligent, that will be lazy and not do their job, to inform people as needed. These, and then under them, then if they're hired wrong, which most of them are, unfortunately, they're all the most caring people. There are 3 hired in the world, and millions that are working in the world wrongly making paycheck under God, but don't get away under God or Jesus especially. No, they're morally doing wrong, making them dollars, medical, different staff. The other ones are not getting the money that would care and save the lives and health of even pose one thing such as a video like this for 4 years and keep putting every day informing people would have saved the lives and health and suffering of 100 million animals, pets, humans, babies, the little animals, kind-hearted souls, loved ones, the little infants they had from suffering 2 weeks coronavirus and dying, from having masks put on and not intentionally on their face, breathing problems, animals, pets. This all be not fed more enough nutritious food. These are different. There's been research done clearly over hundreds of years. There's even online posts, credible ones. This World Health Organization and all in the world are not doing their part. The virus and strains would have been seriously diminished. There'll be a lot less in the world, a lot less of it would have been spread. A lot less mutant strains would have resulted if all of these world leaders and all the employed did their part and helped all those that care and humanity that do. And all the animals would have needlessly a lot 100 million less would have suffered less and died. A lot less people, the caregivers, children would not cry, see their animals, pets dying, suffering from the spread not prevented because of the higher level jobs under God and all the other ones they employed is their job to screen, to make sure they hire caring staff, and then they are responsible to keep in mind hire those under them. They are responsible to deal with even priests, all religious world leaders. They hire under them to inform. They didn't close, and I stated, everyone, please see these videos, share to the world. Not many doing. This is what the Pope and all world leaders had to do. Are morally obligated under God, and if they don't, are accomplices are disrespecting dignity and human health of 100 million people already did, and animals, and have to step down, resign, and give their paychecks back all from all the years they work and did this. Under God, they cannot make their paychecks. They disrespected, endangered the lives, and 100 million suffered under them because they didn't do their job to run the world right. Humanity suffered. Coronavirus and variant strains, they suffered. Humanity 2 weeks and died. Lost parents, kids left orphaned. The animals left without caregivers. Not hired proper medical staff. Not all veterinarians. Clearly, pharmaceutical companies making millions needed closed down for years, did nothing. Not selling proper masks, the ones that owners of them. They could have easily sold, as I stated, one proper mask made and I've sold that online easily for humans to find with proper certification number, proper expiry date, and proper percentage filtration efficacy of percentage of how much virus stated clear it's for viruses and or bacteria, but the coronavirus is a virus and variant strains to prevent it from spreading, the percentage that the mask prevents the virus from spreading, and the material that it is made out of, and other more important information on the actual package. Online retailers haven't done this, millions suffered. Still selling wrong illegal masks, blurred out information like this, huge market making millions, humans' lives suffered. 2 weeks and died, lost animals, loved ones, pets, children, homeless because of it. Canada, half the world, keep in mind, is cold, live on the street because of it. Pets lost, cold, can have no caregivers, living on street, freezing, frostbite in few seconds, suffering nerve damage, suffering homeless, with no food, dying. Half the world too warm, suffering not cared for, lost the caregivers due to virus. The humans lost lives, children suffering, crying. These are things that are not stated, these words, by the world leaders, the world religious leaders, the Pope, Dalai Lama. They make their speeches, what is certain words, and different one thing is to do in their jobs, but they're not doing under God to care and have resources, financial and business and all other huge not authority, but huge uh, influence on the world, have to be morally right examples to all humanity. They have the million viewers. They already have on Twitter every day tuned in million. Every day on the news. Every summit is live broadcasted on the news. There are 100 million viewers in every country. Keep in mind, they're not doing their part every day to state I made few videos, simple information, put posts there for all humanity to spread this to them, have resources to spread to the world. What is their job? And if they did this already, 100 million people would not have suffered and the animals would not have suffered. The pets, this is a suffering of humanity. This is a suffering of living creatures, of animals, the most vulnerable, the little animals, infants, animals, pets in the wilderness. in farmland. They are the most kind-hearted souls that they have of them all. These I don't know why, but they're made this way and don't have the intellectual reasoning ability, as I stated, as humans have to figure out what a virus is, to get food for them, more antioxidants. There's more up-to-date, informed humans need to be online about and others humans that care that hear this. Please make your videos. You have all the resources. You studied more than me in specific fields to help inform their videos put there online takes a few minutes. You have the resources to promote if you have a good product with a nutritious food, vitamins of antioxidants for animals, for pets. To help, especially research been done over years, whatever they some even new minimal ones, proper other there are different nutrients that are for humans, even researchers to find this. Focus your studies on it. I would love to do. I was a human earth angel, a human left alone, wronged on earth, prevented from doing my research in all fields and animals and nature and all animals and humans research to prevent the suffering and to find cures, and could have handed to me all cures for all SARS and COVID gone for years, but mine are blocked on earth against my human free will of choice. I had 100 million ideas of vaccines and cures, and together I have in my situation heaven on earth granted anything I choose, and heaven God would give me on earth, and I chose to help humanity, to stop the suffering in all ways, to prevent it from health failing, as a human earth angel for over 24 years, but was not protected on earth to accomplish, in fact, prevented from doing, and tortured alive, which is illegal, and heaven left me alone, not protected, to accomplish what they know, and I could have saved and helped the lives of 100 million people and then be healed, and all genetic disorders gone from humans and animals, innocent ones that don't know, as I stated, intellectual abilities have, don't, to heal themselves, to know what a genetic disorder is, what autoimmune diseases are, what the brain damage is, what the viruses are, what the coronaviruses are, what the bacterial infections are affecting them, what funguses are, what a tumor growth is on the skin, what the pain is caused by. They suffer this way even in the wild. Could have been more resources I could have myself found, but was prevented torture life from doing. It's illegal and wronged on earth, and that God didn't help me on earth, and Jesus and Holy Spirit, despite worldwide effort in that in itself. So I only do what I can and made these few videos for everyone to understand and be humans. The earth angels they are, well rested, well fed in these times. Unfortunate is to get rid of this coronavirus and variant strains. It takes carefully humans time to rather for a human to care for their own health and prevent the spread at all costs. To inform yourself if you see but one safe to do. You see a children there, and please spread this. Close the schools. Close the churches, places of worship. These are not allowed to be open. Public schools. There's millions of humans that are not doing the part, and millions suffering, heart health failing, and then spreading to animals. It is after over 4 years. The coffee shops have been opened, and this is Canada. The restaurants opened. Retailers are opening them. Some most have maybe the employees wear masks, but they're not screening anymore. for proof of vaccination, even for a human to have a triple or four vaccinated. People are eating food less than a meter away with their masks off for hours, socializing, breathing air in front of other humans. Who knows where they came from? The people travel all the time, different strains mutating, spreading. And this is people saying is beyond wrong in the world. World leaders not doing the part. It's one thing even humans can comprehend and do their part, but animals, their lives, they cannot understand it. They are suffering 2 weeks and dying. They cannot go a bunny hop to the thing, oh, I have a virus, I gotta go get a medical advice. They're suffering, breathing, don't know what's wrong with them. If they get a virus or variant strain, a puppy, like a child saying, Mommy, the puppy's breathing properly not. Please help it, I'm crying. Does anyone want to hear this? No. See, things like this needed to be stated by the Pope, the world leaders, to understand themselves and to make all humanity understand the severity of what the capabilities of this coronavirus and variant strains are, and to keep maintaining this by putting this information online and reminding humans as many 100 million times a day or every day as needed to prevent, to make sure and people then will be informed. There's still millions that are not. There's a lot of stupid people, heartless. They're going after fashion like still world industry leaders. That the world leaders could have put them and put fines on them and had to do to not sell other masks when it's a serious pandemic like this. Human lives were lost, suffering, animals, pets, loved ones, caregivers, pets of the little infant babies, bunnies, kittens, cats, mothers, mummies, gone, suffering, can't take care of them. Children crying, they love pets, they know our emotions, soul brought them joy, are gone, crying for life. Humans, caregivers, suffering, animals see suffering, they can't heal themselves. They know, no, there's best humans some researchers doing in the world for humans. Animals, best research can, but this could be a lot of more funding put into this. I myself am educated only what I learned over the years, but I was prevented from doing research for 24 years. I've seen over the years how these research facilities, these researchers in the world could have had found many other vaccines and cures over time. Needed to invest, but the head offices, the Pope and world leaders are not funding the actual caring researchers. They're not hiring these staff. They have the medically negligent ones that they didn't care enough to make sure weren't hired in the first place, working there. There's clearly illegal research beyond unethical going on in the world, creating different variant mutant strains that, if released from the facility, will endanger and harm severely the lives of 100 million people and animals, and will never be gone from the world. I'm only one human, but I put these videos and seen it all. And it requires a human to be well fed first, well rested, to hear this, listen patiently. It is a virtue. Help a human earth angel. I obviously disabled for years. Beyond my control, wrong, I don't deserve. I choose and seen, at least I cared. And I care enough to speak these words, to save whatever left of humanity, their health, the animals, and to prevent the spread of this coronavirus and variant strains. At all costs, only what humans can do and when it's safe to do, to be informed. Education. I put other videos recently, Human Earth Air. These are God spoken truth words of an unmorally right ethical side. Out of respect, keep in mind every human will leader, religious or not, know this. and all humanity is judged in every human soul what they do on earth, and they hire humans under them and other medical staff, veterinarians, conservationists. They are affecting the lives of humans, not only caregivers of pets, the other owners of animals, pets, farmers. They all make paycheck, are obligated to know in their job description, study to use what they learned for the purpose, and their paycheck can only do to help animals, to care for their well-being, their dignity of God, to respect as living creatures are to be respected, to have proper shelter and health, the brain to treat them as intellectual capabilities they have as an animal, to understand this, to focus on this, to help them through COVID and very strange times, to be there present, to help them, to put masks if needed, to isolate them if needed, to check on them when needed, to care for all the animals, the pets, to find and do research focus on these two. They are, keep in mind, all world leaders, veterinarians, other humans working conservation that cross paths with animals, all caregivers, other researchers that study and focus their studies on animal health, could do a lot more higher to help animals. If they get the virus, need the most care than any out of any other human, another living creature alive. They don't have the reasoning abilities. I'm not only speaking to all humanity, but all those humans. There are researchers that care and telling to world leaders, and humans get this video to them who can, and they have to hear this and can act right away and change everything right away for the better. The other few recent videos I had, Angelika Jakiela, Earth Angel, these are messages sent by God, the Jesus Christ respecting, Holy Spirit, humans to use their virtues, religious or not, to know what this means, to be morally right, to ethically do right, to treat all with respect, to use the virtues all humans, religious or not, have, and all job titles and all humans they affect under them, to care for all humanity, also animals, and all living other creatures. And especially during COVID times, this is mostly the animals because they have the respiratory tracts are affected, but as well to be informed as a stating not only humans. They need to be cared for by humans that have the intellectual brain thinking capabilities to be educated and required morally to do. Under God as well, to be informed, educated what I speak, what other researchers up to date did to look online when they can. Have researchers these days, internet. A lot of research been done by caring humans, and it is a job as the World Health Organization and other organizations dealing with animals specifically research, and humans are job obligated to look up these sites best they can. If they can't easily find one, then let them know. These World Health Organizations send the emails. It takes an action, then they will do something. Because keep in mind, they are morally obligated under God. They have the financial reserve. They studied years to do this job, to accomplish, to care for all 100 million people in every country in the world, to respect their health, to respect their lives as living dignity as well as living beings with souls, personal, emotion, their health, brain health, physical health, not only of humans but of animals and pets, all living creatures and nature. Everything affects one human life, affects another life, especially in all jobs. Humans under them are affected, all animals, pets. So everyone has to be educated as they can. These are times when a human has to do what they can. Push the issue, file complaints, overthrow the leaders, tell them to resign. If they're not going to immediately, every second counts to do what they were supposed to do for years, to care for the well-being, health, proper funding for homes, medical care, which even Canada states is beyond disgraceful, And I was in no Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I've seen the news way over 2 decades and over 42 years. This is most humans are wrong, myself illegally. There are one or two staff that care. The COVID times, not all, even medical staff, most did their part a lot, but others still were not. They're negligent, not focusing and spread the virus to humans, even in wards of long-term care facilities. They suffered isolated. They affected other lives of others, humans affected, pets, animals either lost their lives suffering, but they already had a brain injury and didn't need or other health concerns. They didn't need to have the virus, but got. These are simple things that all humanity has to keep in mind to be well rested, well fed, to care for not only themselves and then help and care for others till this virus rather is gone. All the variant strains. Keep in mind these are certain few things up to there's a list of maybe 5 to 10 main things that I stated in video and other ones that the whole world needs to know. But the whole world leaders, other humans, after even early on might have thought of these and stated online in the show's news, but haven't continued to put this information online. A lot of people still after 4 long years, keep in mind that's a year has 12 months. Each month has 30 days and nights. These are many million days and nights lives were suffering lost. There's still more mutant strains because of it, because the spread wasn't prevented of the ones that are existed. They didn't close the schools for all time. They didn't close the cafeterias where the children were. They suffered some and died. 2 weeks suffering respiratory health, nausea, different things. The next day, 2 day, 3, 4, 2 weeks, and died. They lost animals crying because the child lost their caregivers. The parents lost a child. They suffered and for life of emotional distress, crying. This is not, and this has been going on, and still, unfortunately, students going outside schools, pets, humans walking with no masks, 100 staff, there's 100 rather students, high school, young minds, standing outside less than meter apart in Canada and Toronto and other cities with no masks. Children walking to school and parents with no masks less than meter away. In Canada, cold will spread and wind faster. They're walking the dogs, as I stated, spread potentially this strain, other strains, people traveling different countries. The major, such as Tim Hortons, I've seen wear the masks, the employees, but not screening at the door, even for vaccination proof, to minimize the spread, even to prevent entirely, which closed the doors to say to dining areas. The whole world knows why. Other people, such as myself, then filed a complaint, was told that they cannot mention to their customers to wear a mask. They're wearing masks, employees, when working, but they're not even spreading potentially even while wearing masks. Working with food and coffee, such as Tim Hortons. And then the patrons entering their customers and sitting there conversing, smiling for 2 hours. Eating food, breathing, spreading the virus, potentially not screened at all at the entrance for even 3 4 booster shot vaccination. And the children told them, even a parent, I told them, the employees, to tell that even the patrons know to consider that they might get the virus, 2 weeks suffer and die, even to let know where the children is. Or they told me they cannot do this under the rules of the employer, the head office of Tim Hortons. I had to contact, they said, the head office of Tim Hortons to deal with them about this. They under head office of Tim Hortons, they cannot tell were stated to tell the patrons to consider to wear a mask or don't enter the restaurant, the coffee shop. There were 20 people present talking would have spread the virus and potentially spread to others and suffer, die, and animals' lives lost and would never stop being spread in the world. And I human don't have the resources and took an hour and couldn't find and kept trying to find myself, such as other humans carrying in the world, to the contact information of the head office is not there, and other offices that contact were numbers leading to nowhere, no one answering the phone, and emails put online were fake. They made the money sold and endangered 100 million lives. And not only that one, in Toronto and Guelph, Ontario, Canada, the stores, malls open. Millions did their part early on. Humans took time to think this through to save lives and health, prevent the spread. But the leaders are not informing people anymore. A lot of misinformation, human lives suffering, and animals. Stupid, heartless people are mentioning, and these head retailers, the online retailers, the main ones, and the coffee shop. That's why I said close all dining areas, prevent the spread. If they're open, don't enter. Don't support these heartless individuals making money. Tim Hortons, even this right now, get this video, anyone who can, to Justin Trudeau and tell them if he doesn't shed a tear, tell him to resign. He is the one in Canada, the Prime Minister. The victim medical negligence in different councils he didn't monitor and other employees many for years. And other Canadian Prime Ministers, clearly and all humans know, cannot be running the country. Morally obligated under God know what to do and have the resources financial to do, don't even help disabled. Funding and homing homeless leave millions of people. Well, they hired the medically negligent staff, non caring those and non monitoring, hiring the colleges to monitor who they employ, doctors, psychiatrists in these COVID times, nurses medically negligent. The patients already suffering some health concerns, obviously, as I stated, were suffering. Animals' lives lost, not cared for. These are not closing the doors. Other stores, Shoppers Drug Mart, dollar stores, opening doors. These are restaurants, humans misinforming them all, Walmart. Major retailers only open doors, sometimes from outside malls. Understandable, humans need money to live, food to let in, and screen sanitize only few people to let in at a time. The rest are misinforming people and letting in. Some employers say they lifted the restrictions so the humans need to wear a mask. The virus has spread more in the world and changed forms. There's a need for humanity to wear the mask, proper ones, all times. So that if they don't want to suffer 2 weeks and die, do they? Do they want a bunny to suffer 2 weeks and die? Breathing problems, sweating, high fevers, vomiting, nausea, muscle ache, pain for 1, 2 days is 24 hours in a day, night, the next day, the next night, 2 weeks and die. None cared for. No, they don't understand that there's a virus. They're not required to. They're innocent animals. Their lives affected. A pet dies. A kid is crying there. What is a little baby toddler crying? Say, "Mommy, where's my puppy? Why does suffer die? Where's my bunny? Why is it suffering there? Mommy, I'm crying. Mommy, this put out the inform this." And the kids would be socializing already with the pets close to it. If the virus was prevented spreading, it might have even been gone from the world if all humanity and world leaders did their part. There's most humanity that cared. There's those that help the animals. There's a few medical staff online everywhere that really care, would do anything, but they don't. There's the ones above them that are not hiring the other staff. The World Health Organization did mainly what can, but could do a lot more. They're not doing everything that I'm an innocent human to look into online with the resources they have, of even all contact numbers that I don't. Could clearly look into Amazon and close down the whole Amazon, put a fine on them for misinforming 100 million people in Canada and states alone. This is 100 million people bought these masks misinformed. blurred out images of the part of the mask of expiry dates, endangered human lives, sold 100 million different masks, trained hard of human myself, even educated. It took me over an hour looking into details what I knew medical knowledge and what to look for percentages, expiry dates, over an hour to find one mask that would have been certified. The 4 layer, 5 layer mask currently that would be proper at even proper price to purchase. And there's all that looks similar. There's the different KN95 masks are different than the 9N95, even though look the same. They are made in China, not in Canada or the States. This all information that needed to be given early on started. People cared. The world leaders, but then they're being lazy over time. They're not following up on it. They cannot be. They affect the lives and are morally responsible and ethically responsible for all humanity's health and well-being. Their dignity of God to respect as living humans, animals, pets, to think of these things that they don't want their pet to suffer and die. They want to be informed. They're the way to they be to be respected, to think of these words, to tell them who can. Keep pushing the issue. There's online resources. Higher level humans of different jobs can easily do but haven't been doing. To fire told them to resign. They have to turn the paycheck in and do morally right to put it into funding resources to help those who got coronavirus. The human lost pet for counseling, grief counselors, humans lost a pet, child crying, need someone to counsel them, hire them for free, hire humans so they work there, volunteers, give them funding that will counsel properly online in places when safe to do. Children, adults sing when the bunny lost their life. They were responsible for hiring and make sure these people online sold proper masks, informed which are for animals safe, for children, for pets, what it is properly certified. They never stated any put these ones I put there post myself. Pinterest, not barely anyone viewed. I need to have humans on earth to look into these. I made the effort what this all the world leaders had to maintain and do for years. If they did, we a lot less spread and potentially even maybe gone from the world. A lot less mutant strains. Might have been not even Omicron variant, Delta variants, Beta variants of this coronavirus. If it was prevented spreading, then there would have been less chances of it mutating, changing forms. They didn't do that part. They're being negligent. They're disrespecting the lives and humanity and dignity of all. It takes whatever humans left on the earth that care. Do your part. You have to act now. You have to save what's left of humanity, their health, and of the animals. If not, to care to prevent the spread, to wear the mask. I mean, and if not, then they will continue to spread and change forms. There will be no vaccines for the new forms, no cures. Then they'll keep more people suffering. The children will never be able to socialize, go to school and playgrounds ever again. The humans in those long-term care facilities beyond suffering or the health concern no human should live, either brain damage day and night, and sitting there going in quarantine doing their part because some staff nurse forgot to wear the mask and entered, put in quarantine to prevent the spread for either 14, 7 to 10 days. And the humans there stay in the little rooms there, have nothing to do, no funding then given. When the negligent staff, heartless, could have the world leaders look into this, make sure they hire caring staff to put in funding. Use your paycheck when you didn't do their job they couldn't. To tell the world leaders humans have to. If no one files the complaints, those that have the money, resources, I would do if I had to file criminal charges. Medical negligence I can afford, but I right to do my situation for years, but I don't have the money. But I would if I worked in human that can afford it, then please do. Take the time, pay the lawyers court fees when you're sure to win, and get rid of these people. Put them in prison and make sure they give their paycheck to those that they were supposed to harm using their paycheck, job, description, trained to help humanity and animals, care for their health, provide homes, shelter, proper medical care, proper veterinary care, proper nutrition information to all humanity, because human health and animal health is most important. And for nature, humans, they know they can need to be healthy, nutrition, proper foods to function, glucose, they want to be healthy. All humans' right to be healthy. If they're not healthy, they're suffering. No human deserves to suffer. Being poor, not enough food. These are main things that keep in mind every second day in our long hours. If a human doesn't have one meal, they're already starving. Their physicality health fails. They don't have enough glucose to think, the basic sugar to function. The muscles get weak. The suffering in Canada and States is cold, freezing to death, frostbite on the street if they can't work. Poor and half the world too hot, poor, not enough nutrients, dehydrated. Then they can't take care of the animals. Would love to do, but then they're ill. And then the spread is when humans not healthy, immune systems have with not enough nutrition, antioxidants, vitamin C, A, E from diet. Then the human health immune system is weaker, cannot fight off as strongly any viruses, bacterias. And then the animals as well, keep in mind, they need antioxidants, they need nutritious food. Pet food companies, please, human hearing this, spread this video to them. I'm only one human. I am beyond disabled, that I human life force too low to be alive after years. God left me alone, not protected, that I can't even do this myself. I don't have the resources to do. I would spend the hours and to call these people, but I don't have their phone numbers of high level offices. I need humans to act to help me. This needs to be resolved in the world immediately. This has been going on wrong, not in order the world for too many years. The coronavirus has been here longer than it had to, and because of negligence of all world leaders. The Pope are morally obligated under God to prevent the spread at all costs, to put funding to help get rid of this in the world pandemic at all costs. They didn't close all the schools all times. The children suffering there in cafeterias didn't close. They didn't close all indoor malls. They're not looking into the major restaurants, Tim Hortons. There's millions of these locations. Other major stores, a lot of people took the part, did their part by making sure, but there's no more people over the years seen. But there's a sanitizer at the door, but no one's standing there, and hire employees to make sure screening, really of proof of vaccination. The most recent vaccination for humans if really need. Only the major stores for the food, such as Walmart in Canada, States, and the clothing for people to enter at a time, then close for a while as they were doing. Make sure all information is online for proper animal stores. Humans is safer when they enter from an outdoor store, not have another in a mall with another store near it. People going from store to store. The malls need to be closed. Early on, they did the part. A lot of people they were closed for a long time. A lot of people lost jobs and couldn't work then, but did their part to save the lives of humanity, animals, loved ones, kids losing prevented them from spreading the virus, from losing the little pets, the puppies of them, the children suffering 2 weeks and dying, the animals. The humans did a huge effort, but then they didn't maintain this over the world and throughout the world for over 4 long years. 12 months, 1 year, the next one, 12, is over 4 years. Humans have one life to live on Earth. Animals have one life to live on Earth. It is the humans and animals separately obviously cannot do. The all world leaders, religious leaders, Do everything in your powers and job descriptions. You have the financial resources to do all humanity. If you see someone is medically negligent, not caring for the in the job description, when safe to do, obviously, file the complaints. Push if you can afford it, safe to do. Take them to court, file criminal charges. They're disrespecting human health and lives, and potentially keep in mind is exact information of 100 people employed under them, other humans' lives affected negatively, animals' lives lost, pets suffering 2 weeks die from coronavirus needlessly. They're not doing their jobs. World Health Organization not entirely doing their jobs. They cannot make their paycheck if their job is to make sure and respect dignity and well-being, practice proper ethics. The bioethics boards, major one and rule, are not entirely doing their job, obviously, for years. Is their job hired under world leaders, the Pope, to look into humanity and animals, nature, to respect the ethics, what is morally right to do to respect human dignity, their value as a human with a soul, emotion, and animals of a life, to health, to be respect, to have proper shelter, proper nature, proper food, nutritious ones. Proper supplementation is needed, especially during COVID times. Variant strains to be informed with proper mask, most recent up-to-date research to provide online. There's other new ones. There's these different black seeds for humans. Researchers found a vitamin D helps beneficial to humans even when a human can from the sun get it when safe to do, otherwise supplemented enough properly when care helps a human immune system, especially during COVID times, animals as well, and 100 million other body functions. These are things that a human's educated in medical matters, nutrition, need to help spread this in the world. There's some one or two that care. There's obviously more in the world, but not doing anything else further. They have to. These are simple things that they have to, and were trained after studied most 4 years to get their job and their job description to care for humans. Bioethics boards, medical staff, veterinarians dealing with animals, obviously that can't take care of their health, have to help them nutrition staff for humans, for animals, to care for nature as well. These all have not have employed those are not doing all in their job description to do. The health and well-being of all and ethics has not been monitored by those in the higher job offices, and health humanity and health failing for hundreds of years. Even in the main countries, such as Canada, stated the land of opportunity. This is not a land of opportunity. This is always cold almost all year, and humans, the world leader, this in itself needs to take this into consideration. Currently, Justin Trudeau to put housing even disabled that left medically negligent staff such as myself didn't put disability money enough for a human to live off the street in a hotel basic room just to shield from the cold for one night and have to live off for 30 days and nights in a month till the next disability ODSP check. That is not a respect of in the bioethics boards. The ones they employ are not monitoring what they're to do their job. Their job is to make sure the ethics are respected, the right moral right ethics to respect human life, and that none of those people affected self and animals to help prevent corona spread as well. They're not doing their jobs, and then that's just me. And then but there's 100 million people like myself, truth spoken, freezing on the street, places seen schools open, cafeterias, children spread, they're misinformed, not informed at all. They care, would love to, would put masks on. They need the caregivers, the principals, the teachers. They are all trained to care and respect the dignity of children, the health they know, not doing their part. No one monitoring to check in on these teachers to make sure that they're doing their job. The school boards, they open the schools is obviously the coronavirus rather, and the variant strains have spread. They changed forms. The virus That's why it is very dangerous. Even 3 4 booster shot vaccinated, then a child might still get a different strain. This is one simple but very most important information that these board members, all in Canada, America, the States, the world leaders, need to maintain this, to have the resources to contact emails, phone numbers to these boards. All school boards of all different kinds, public, Catholic of all kinds, in all countries in the world haven't been doing. They opened the doors, they lifted restrictions so no masks needed certain places. Children are not being cared for. Bioethics boards clearly need new leaders, new employees. What they're doing have to resign, turn the paycheck in, put it into funding to care for those that hard life suffered and lost. Homes money for food, the humans lost lives, lost parents, animals, loved ones need counseling for free. Need the human grieving counselors. The humans don't. No one wants to deal with the loss of a loved one, especially animal. Crying after it is emotional strain. Human is crying. No human wants to think of life or death. It is COVID times. It is one of the worst pandemics there are. Even since humanity lost suffered after the SARS virus, these are is beyond wrong and not understandable in any way. How these world leaders live with themselves, responsible for the illegal human torture and disrespect of human life, ethics, their dignity, their human rights to be respected as a live, living human being, the right to have proper health, and all their animals, loved ones, the pets, the nature, to have proper caring veterinarians, to have doctors, medical staff, proper funded facilities, proper temperatures in those facilities, all neglected. This hasn't been monitored by the world leaders top down. They're the ones starting off, not doing their job entirely, but trained, studied even years to do, put $1 million in the studies, to care, trained, and respect human dignity all these ways. Not doing, respect human rights, human ethics, to be treated properly, fairly as a living human, all animals, to consider these main things all times, haven't been doing. Not many know the people that were wrongs can afford the lawyers to put them in prison, but other humans can, not doing. And they're living on the other most wronged and living on street. Half the world now, including animals, because of this, and after even during the COVID and variant strains, and it has been spreading, while humans stupid, heartless, are telling misinforming people, oh, this the stores open, the virus is gone. Humans not educated. A lot there's old people, young people hearing this. If I see this, I would tell myself and do when I can. When safe to do, obviously. But is the store owners, they're getting away with illegal human torture. They're spreading the virus, not preventing it. The millions gonna lose lives. They don't want to suffer, but need reminded of this. Their job is to make sure they're gonna a human gonna employ employees gonna suffer with someone leaving the store open and people entering, to inform their employees that even while wearing a mask, they still to remind them they're breathing on the side. Humans entering don't know where they came from, even with a mask, are not being screened to screen them. For triple forward booster shot will help a lot to prevent of the spread. They're not screening at the doors anymore. Humans barely sanitize themselves. No one's standing there to make sure they even put sanitizer anymore. Humans entering these major stores, Shoppers Drug Mart, other stores, Walmart at times. Over time, they did employ these employees, could have put more funding to help with this. But then they put a lot of money into selling the wrong masks, getting retailers selling these covered designer masks with their material, don't prevent any virus spread. Lives lost, children, fancy masks don't help prevent spread, and a child suffering 2 weeks getting virus and die, still sold online. 100 million day night 1 year, 12 months, days nights in a year, then the next year, then the next year, 4 years. animals, then lives lost, suffering, don't know what the virus is. Lost children, caregivers of them, suffering, crying. They have a soul. They have emotions, looking for the caregiver if they lost an animal, a pet, a dog, a bunny. They love to see their owner that took care of them, but they're not there no more because the virus and died. And they have no one to take care of them. Their lives affected their lives. They need someone then to take care of them, but are left on the street, hopping around, freezing in Canada and States, other half of the world, in hot temperatures in the sun, dehydrated. Get a virus, suffer themselves, 2 weeks, don't know, and no one to take care of them to help get a vaccine or anything, and die. There's all humanity left suffering, and all animals. Pets, birds. Angelika, I'm only one human, and telling the truth. For all world leaders, all religious leaders, prevent the spread, not only for the respect of human dignity of God, of yourselves. You have your own souls responsible under God and Jesus to do the morally right thing, to care as you know in your job descriptions, to hire the proper medical world leaders and board members, World Health Organization, bioethics boards, to help all humanity. And then it will affect all the rest of the lives of pets, all animals, so they don't suffer, get the coronavirus and variant strains, for 2 weeks suffer respiratory ailments and die. And then will negatively affect the others, as I stated. Animals, caregivers will be crying, need counseling. Human souls will be crying, offended, wrong, disrespected, dignity within them. Of God, you are morally responsible world leaders to prevent the spread of coronavirus and variant strains and the suffering of humans and all animals. Nature, to provide proper resources, jobs. Affect, stop hiring those people making millions in the high level jobs that are not doing the job, and millions suffering are making paychecks for illegal human torture. They cannot do this. And needs to be stopped. Angelika Jakiela. I'm only one human, but a caring human earth angel. And all humans have capability of being earth angels, which is a human that uses their virtues selflessly without expecting anything in return. Two is the one virtue of caring for another, of animals, pets, humans. The others that work with the animals and pets, farmers, and all other veterinarians, humans that have other pets, other children. For all humans to be well rested, educated, then use this information to speak by word of mouth, but with mask if needed, 2 meters away, even with mask, to spread this information to all online, safer, over the phone. Keep reminding humans, post every day. Humans have resources, some tag, put this video, 100 million people can watch it every day if to need reminded. That's what his intent is for, to save whatever left of humanity and animals' health without the virus, to stop it from spreading and the variant mutant strains that didn't have to be here, but are to stop the spread of it at all costs that only human can do, to humans and animals, pets, then sooner when it's prevented from spreading in proper sanitized areas. Keep in mind also that it spreads on surfaces, need to be more washed with soap and water, is more beneficial on hands, and animals as well. Keep in mind, animals cannot tell you to speak to if you're using the wrong soap on their paws. An animal such as a dog, a kitten, to be informed to help these animals and pets. Humans' hands to be washed with proper soap and water for 10 to 20 seconds to prevent the spread of the virus. If on hands will be killed with the soap and water and warm enough temperatures for 10 to 20 seconds and wash down the drain is more beneficial to prevent the spread than hand sanitizers on a hand with 70% ethanol alcohol. To keep this in mind, animals and the smells of the sanitizers to help this information to be spread. These are exact words that need to be listened to. These have to be put a little polls. Humans can help. Take seconds. Put the ones I did. Information is stated. Make your own. Tag to people already who have the resources. Send to them. Act now. Tell them to put on their little Twitter site that already have million viewers, world leaders, Dalai Lama, Pope, all World Health or other people. I don't have the contact resources to reach them, but what if they can post these? They have the million viewers tuning in each day. Will see these. Remind every day as needed, or every few days. The simple information I put there will save the health and lives of humanity, prevent the spread even more. This is truly is not one human. It is 100 million people view these main world leaders. Other peoples have the resources. They need information to get to them from humans that have the resources. I don't contact information to reach them to do what they were supposed to do, to care for human health and animals, pets, for all the 4 years during pandemic of COVID and variant strains, but did not, and humanity, animals, pets' lives suffered. For all humans to be part of what I founded, Angelika Jakiela, a human worldwide Earth Angel movement. To use your virtues, it is recorded in every human thought, mind, heart, and soul. Physically, when a human is educated, takes the time to educate themselves about the needs of others, what they are suffering, ill health to help prevent the spread of coronavirus and variant strains to animals. These vulnerable most these animals that can't heal themselves, they cannot go to a walk-in clinic to get medical advice. They need food given to them, nutritious, up-to-date research found done, proper supplementation to help their immune system in every way, to find proper vaccines for each type of animal. Keep in mind, each animal, even dogs, cats, bunnies, each of them, there's different species of animals. Each of these have different genetic makeup, require potentially different vaccines if they came to it, but there unfortunately isn't in the world different cures for each species of animal, of different types of dogs, different types of cats, birds, bunnies, and all different livestock animals, the ones in the wild. For humans to consider this, not to travel near the animals in the wild. If they spread it to them, then they cannot do anything, will suffer alone, no one to take care of them. 2 weeks, don't know what they're suffering from, breathing problems, poor innocent animal crying, suffering, no one to take care of them, properly help the immune system, potentially find a vaccine. Takes the humans to be informed from the kindness of the heart, part of a human worldwide Earth Angel movement to save the health and lives of all humanity and animals, pets, especially during COVID times and variant strains. To use is recorded and by the heavens highly valued, but done by human when they choose, by free of choice, not forced by God to do or anyone else. To use their gifts, these gifts of the Spirit, these gifts they have of kindness, these virtues of kindness and compassion, to have mercy on another human life or an animal in the situation, pets, to be considerate of others, to be attentive, to think patiently is another virtue, to be understanding of their needs of others, to prevent the spread at all costs, to help maintain then the health and form humans as much as can. Pose these are kind, merciful acts of compassion to be spread in the world and all leaders, and the moral we obligate them for sure to do, because 100 million viewers tune in and see them as a good moral role model on the earth for all 100 million people in all countries and all over the world, but haven't been doing. Need to be reminded of this, and all humans working employed under them to be reminded of this, to remind their employees of all kinds, to remind religious world leaders of their parishioners, their followers. Health is more important, not worship, traveling to places of worship. These are kind acts, these are merciful acts. Those religious or not, no, is a God morally right example, and under Jesus, a merciful act of kindness, compassion, and respect of themselves, dignity of God and Holy Spirit. They have to use their gifts to save the health and prevent the suffering of health of all humanity, to prevent the suffering, ill health, failing, especially from COVID and variant strains of all kind animals, all pets, loved creatures that are very loved within soul of their caregivers, of all humanity. A simple smile from an animal brings heart joy to the heart and soul of any human alive. These animals have the most kindest hearts of all, but need humans to take care of them. Humans to take care of themselves with these virtues informed, spread to be prevented for themselves, humanity, and the extra step to care for these animals. Find mass proper researchers and other ones for animals, vaccines specifically for animals, for pets, for different species types of those animals, in each different category type of animal. And birds, other creation to be considered. There are other different viruses and bacteria, funguses that are exposed to different creatures as well, not only animals with respiratory tracts. There's the sea creatures, there's the insects, 100 million different species, all different ones in the wild, giraffes, monkeys, zebras. These are all kind-hearted animals. Horses, as any human alive knows, when I speak, they have a life, emotion, personality. They have a soul. They are living creatures of dignity of God within them to be respected by all and need help of humanity. More resources need by our leaders easily do can hire these. There's millions of people that would love to help an animal but need a job as it is. Money simply even to make food, but would are trained, studied, and would be paid and but not put funding into these people that actually care and work will help these save these animals for years, especially need during these COVID and variant strain times. More funding and to the real caring humans need monitored who is hiring this staff of researchers to make sure they're not doing what is not ethically correct, what is not morally right. To take the time to slow down and use their own kindness of heart and soul to be patient and understand what their own job description is, world leaders and high level World Health Organization rather, FDA, pharmaceutical companies, President Biden, the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Pope Francis, Dalai Lama, all the 100 million different world leaders, religious main world leaders, all world worship leaders to close all places of worship to understand this. for all to do their part to be human earth angels, part of a human worldwide effort to save and prevent the spread of coronavirus and health failing of all humanity, whatever's left of what they didn't do their part. A lot of humans did, and animals. Everyone has to act now, and to restore the health when they prevent the spread of the virus to all humans and all animals. Then it will be restored, and no one will be suffering, seeing them suffer. Humans will be healthy, never suffer respiratory ailments and other health concerns and die, won't have to wear a mask, which is problematic to human breathing ever again, especially animals don't know what it's about. Living creatures, pets, will breathe freely, will have joy in their hearts and souls this way, and be returned to having heaven on earth at all times, as they rightly deserve to be treated as all living beings on earth at all times while they have one life to live. So please, everyone, spread this video. I did the work. Please, whoever on earth in all countries, get this to the world highest leaders and everyone else in the world. They have the resources, top down, and million viewers. This needs to be heard by them to fix and put this online everywhere. Information who can. Do your part. I gave up long ago. As human, I can't. I'm too disabled to do this. I am a human earth angel, Angelika. I was not left alone with God's assistance on earth for some reason, but I was supposed to protect to accomplish this myself. Hasn't been done, and I can't do myself alone. I need all I need all humanity to do their part and to help and prevent the spread of this virus and to care for all living creatures, especially those most vulnerable, these animals, kind-hearted, loving souls, all the pets, all living creatures everywhere in the world, including the wild, when safe and proper to help them for more research to be done on vaccines for every different species of different animals, all different types of creatures, and then they will have the heaven on earth brought to them, joy to their hearts and souls when they're not suffering things such as a virus they don't know what they're affected by, and don't need to be suffering if humanity and all world leaders and all do their part to prevent it from spreading to them. Please be human earth angels. Do your part. Prevent the spread at all costs. Do what you can on this earth. Then all the animals, keep in mind, are earth angels too. They have a kind heart soul and have their own virtues to use and bring joy to the hearts and souls of their caregivers and all other creation, to little children, and are to be respected as all living creatures are, by the help of all human earth angels, to take care of them. Thank you for listening to this video. Please share it to all, and please help restore health of all humans, animals, using your virtues, then bringing joy and to their hearts and souls when their health is restored and prevented from suffering, all humans and animals and creation, and then to restore and bring heaven on earth to them as they deserve for all time, as they deserve while they have one life to live. This is a message from a human earth angel, a real one. If I could and God accomplished this, I didn't protect on earth, but I would truly be an archangel, Angelika in heaven, as the world knows that who know me. I am a humanitarian, chose to prevent the health failing of all humanity, animals, and creatures for years, but was not protected on earth by God to do. Unfortunately, I am very offended, and I could have then helped all from heaven as archangel and put resources from heaven what God is supposed to care for humanity and creation and maintain all health proper order in the universe, and to make sure born everyone healthy, including all humans and animals, to be cared for by the Creator, holy loving grace of God, which unfortunately didn't do, including myself, to protect on the earth. I'm doing what a human could do on earth as an earth angel. I require all human earth angels to act. I lived through what no human should live through, and I choose, but I can't do anymore. I can only did what a human found what I lived through and put this information together. It requires other humans to act to restore heaven on earth for all, restore heaven on earth and health for all. Then when a human is healthy, then they are happy, and other humans are happy. Children are happy. Virus is gone, variant strains, and all humans socializing, children, animals, playing. Everyone is healthy, breathing, going to stores more, buying what they choose, and conversing, cafeterias, eating safely with no masks, no hand sanitizer smells making people ill. And the world is restored to more joyous place for all proper health and for animals, and heaven and earth for all as they deserve. Please see my Earth Angel YouTube channel. Whoever is on Earth can in all countries and world, please protect this and make different copies of it as well. Please save this. My human efforts as an Earth Angel cannot go to waste. I need everyone to act to view these. These are God's spoken truths from the heart soul of a caring human real Earth Angel. Thank you for listening. And please see my other sites for helpful videos and please spread them to all who need them. Thank you for listening.